Welcome to A Clown's Adventure to Tormentation, trying to get the Shadowlands Season 3 Mythic Keystone Mount. First, some background. In WoW, there are dungeons you can run with other players in 3 difficulties: Normal, Heroic, and Mythic or Mythic Plus. Normal is the easiest difficulty, Heroic is harder, and Mythic Plus are the hardest. Once you do a Mythic dungeon, typically called a Mythic 0, you'll get a keystone you can use to increase the difficulty of the dungeon depending on what level the keystone is. As you do these Mythic Plus dungeons, your Mythic Plus rating will go up each season, which changes each major patch or whatever. And if you get a specific rating in a season, you will be awarded with a cool mount to show off that you did the thing. And that's what I want. During Shadowlands Season 2, I've been doing a lot of raiding, getting as far as reaching ahead of the curve in Heroic. As a pug, I'm not in a guild with people in it, I'm alone, and it was so hard to find groups to get into that had other puggy people in it that were serious enough to not be one-wipe Andes. And doing a lot of Mythic dungeons, even getting as far as over 1700 rating. I was very proud of myself, and I was really close to getting a 2000 rating, which would have netted me the Season 2 mount, but I was too late, and I got burnt out at the end because of frustration and all the grinding I was doing. Okay, anyway, so now it's Season 3. Even though the mount for this season is just a color swap of the other 2 season mounts, I actually like this color scheme, so me want it really bad. And now that I'm starting pretty early on in the season, and that I've got a pretty good gear, and that I actually know what to do, my journey to becoming a Season 3 Keystone Master begins. No! My first dungeon this season is the Sanguine Depths level 2. Luckily for me, the weekly event was to do 4 mythic dungeons this week to be rewarded with a random piece of gear from the heroic level of the new raid, so that will be very helpful, and I accepted the quest. Also, thankfully, every week, depending on how much content you do, you can get some random extra gear, so even if I don't get any gear drops from these dungeons, which I won't because I never get anything other than golden anima items, which I don't care about, at least I'll get like these 2 guaranteed gear drops that maybe might help me. After a nice little meal, oh nom nom done, we rush off to the races. Since I've been so used to doing keystones around level 15, I'm used to having to deal with all the affixes, the bonuses that the enemies get. But since it's like super low leveled, I don't have any crazy affixes to worry about, which honestly made this dungeon feel kind of boring. I was actually kind of scared going into the area where the fire guy usually would be, but he wasn't there, and I was confused until I remembered that it was because, you know, lower level. Nothing special really happened in this dungeon except for the fact that I learned a funny new term, kick and grip. I love how that sounds. I don't even know what that means. I guess using that Death Knight grasp ability to make the enemies stop casting, thus kicking them? I don't know, I just know I love the sounds. Kick and grip, baby, let's go! This is where the kick and grip came in, baby, let's go! I mean, I only saw 2 grasps go out, so maybe I was right? I don't know. The boss... I don't know, we beat that boss's booty, let's keep rocking. We only got 1 death throughout this dungeon, and that was during the last big hallway, but we had so much time left over, it didn't really matter. There was no way we were gonna like lose or anything. And we did it! That's 1 dungeon in the bag, baby. Second dungeon is Theater of Pain, level 2. This is a fun one. I don't know how I'm gonna keep this series going, if I'm gonna go like super in depth with each dungeon, or if I'm even gonna cover every dungeon, or if I'm even gonna do them each week or whatever, I don't know. This is just gonna be fun. Anyway, this was a good group. They kept interrupting like a half second before I could. I blame the fact that as a hunter, my interrupt is a projectile and they can just burp in the enemy's faces. Fortunately, I didn't get picked to go fight in the PvP boss thingy. It makes me embarrassed. I don't like it. Anyway, we get through that part and the yucky part and the portal part, and it was all fine. I like the boss after the portal part. It's fun. It's an easy mechanic. Man, whatever. This dungeon was easy. We completed it. Yay! And I got gear, but it wasn't a good item level. Next dungeon was a favorite, The Other Side. Level 4! This group was fun. They were very talkative and asked for lusts and urns, which was cool. I like being told what to do. This was a fine dungeon. The hunter and I were at the top of the charts. That was the only thing I was caring about during the dungeon. It was easy. We were just going through it. Let's go! While trying to tell them I could turn off the slime, I died though. I didn't know that they did that. But I was a llama with a gun, baby. Woo! And then I died again at the Arden Wheel part. And then we picked where we wanted to go for the last boss, which I always like to do for some reason. I like to go back left. And then we went bonkers on Mozala. Yay, we win! Woo! No gear again though. Oh well, I'm used to it, and if you aren't, you better get used to it too. The last dungeon of this thing was a Mythic 0 Tyrna Scythe. Usually I wouldn't do a Mythic 0, but I just wanted to get the quest complete since I just needed to do one more dungeon, and I was facing the best part of doing these dungeons without a guild. Looking for a group. It's hard to get accepted into a group sometimes as a stinky solo DPS, and even harder as a hunter, I think, because I don't think there is good like for that whole thing, so sometimes it takes long. Especially since there's so many DPS to choose from, and I'm starting a few weeks into the season, so maybe there are, you know, some people who have already started doing newer content and they have better gear, so it's more appealing than just an item level 245 hunter, but I don't know, who knows, I digress. So anyway, I get accepted to one and we all head over, and I forgot it was a 0 and we could just start without putting in a keystone and waiting for the big countdown or whatever. So it took a while for me to start the thingy, but it was fine as soon as we started. We actually skipped a bunch of enemies, and I was confused for a sec since I forgot defeating a specific number of enemies wasn't required in the Mythic 0. Anyway, we got through the maze, and we got through the boss, and we got through the rest without too much trouble. And we beat the final boss, and that was that. I got some bracers, which, you know, a nice gear drop, but I didn't need it. Anyway, since I completed the quest, I went to go turn it in and collect my shiny new piece of gear, and I got an item level 265 trinket. Yay, an upgrade! Yay! Alright, see you next time.